I think we might need to put some respect on the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'll let y'all be the judge of that. The Bucks went on to the NBA's in-season tournament championship on Saturday after defeating the Atlanta Hawks 110-102, led by Giannis's insane performance of 32 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, and 4 blocks, including this block right here. Now, the Bucks weren't always this good. They started off the season 2-8, and there were a lot of questions about them. Their defense was underperforming tremendously, putting them at the bottom half of the league to start the season, and opponents were averaging 118 points per game during that 2-8 stretch. Their transition defense was horrible, to say the least, as they were also one of the worst teams in the league in opponent fast break points. Now, Brook Lopez definitely was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in past years. He's always shown to be a great shot blocker. His age started to show at the beginning of this season, to say the least. Teams were shooting 65% in the paint against the Bucks when they started off 2-8 this season. I think Doc was really struggling to figure out what rotations worked best, who was going to give them the best chance to win. And I'm glad they were able to figure it out within that 10-game span. Things were getting ugly. People were calling for maybe Giannis to be moved, that the Dame trade was a bust. Giannis was out of here at the end of the season if they kept this up. Things were getting bad, but they've turned it around with a 12-3 record in their last 15 games. So what's changed since then? Dame seems fully healthy and comfortable again. He's averaging 25 points per game and 8 assists in this last 15 games. And Giannis has completely taken over, averaging 34 points per game, just under 11 rebounds, and 6.5 assists in the last 15 games. I think Giannis has finally flipped the switch, and he's understood that this is his team. This is his franchise still. It doesn't matter that they brought in Dame. This is your team. Let everybody follow your lead. Dame is the veteran. Dame has been around a long time. He knows how to score in different types of situations. He'll figure it out, but it starts with Giannis. But don't think just because Giannis is bugging out, that's all that they are right now. That's the only reason that they're going this crazy. Giannis missed a game that was pretty pivotal. They were on a 6-game winning streak. They went into Miami and beat Miami without Giannis, where Dame had 37 points and 12 assists. And I'll tell you why else it's not just Giannis. And hats off to the Bucks for orchestrating their team this way. Man, everybody that comes into the game for the Bucks can shoot. They have AJ Green, Gary Trent, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Dame, Brook. Surprisingly, their shooting this year is led by Taurean Prince, who's shooting a career-high 50%, and that's the best in the league this season. I mean, what more can you ask for from a role player coming in and hitting half of his threes? That's been a pivotal reason as to why Giannis has been so dominant this year. Really showcased that his passing ability is super underrated. Like I mentioned earlier, averaging 6.5 assists this year. And what's been most impressive to me over these last 15 games, that they did about 80% of this without Chris Middleton, who's been a 20-point per game scorer in his career, reaching the latter half of his career. And he's been injury riddled, to say the least, in the last couple of years since they won that championship back in 2021. But his addition back into the lineup has been pivotal. They've only lost 1 game since he's been back, and that was his first game back in Boston. And he's seriously balanced out this offense, even in the limited minutes that he's been playing, while he's ramping up his conditioning. When the better teams in the league begin to dial in on Dame and Giannis, Chris Middleton, who's obviously a capable scorer in the league, is now getting team's 3rd best defender, as opposed to in earlier years when he would often see the team's best perimeter defender on most nights. But now they're dialed in on Dame. And then you're putting your best bigger wing guys or stronger wing guys, or maybe your shot blocker, on Giannis. So most teams don't have 3 guys that can sit here and defend at a high level. Higher end teams like Boston, OKC, Houston, Memphis, Orlando, teams like that, they have multiple perimeter defenders, so that will come down to star power and things like that. But most nights, Chris Middleton's getting a guy that can't guard, and that's going to be pivotal in the Bucks season as they go on, as long as he remains healthy. And having a guy emerge like Andre Jackson Jr., who is shown to be a capable defender in the league at 6'8", 6'9", that's going to be a great addition to their rotation. He doesn't provide much on offense yet. You know, he's still young. He's still figuring it out. But he's shown that he's willing and capable to defend at a high level this season. They'll be a force coming into the playoffs. Now, I think this championship game on Tuesday is going to be a great chance for them kind of gauge where they are in terms of being a definitive contender this season, going up against a very guard-heavy team in OKC. And most could probably say that guards have been a bit of an issue for the Bucks this season. So this will be a great chance for them to gauge how good they are going to be this season when the playoffs do come around. And just maybe, if they do decide to make a trade come trade deadline, they'll know exactly what they need, and they'll have a good enough sample size to see who they need to place around Dame and Giannis, or if this current roster is what they need to place around Dame and Giannis, and they should ride the rest of the season out. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think the Bucks are going to pull it out on Tuesday night, or do you think they don't have enough for the #1 defense in the league? Can they contend for a championship this season, or are they just going to be another first or second round out this season like they were last year from injuries? Hey, subscribe to the channel, like this video. I'll catch y'all next video. Peace.